Although Quaritch's return to the Avatar franchise suggests that new evil, morally dubious Nausicaa will be introduced in Avatar, Fire and Ash, they could be RDA collaborators rather than a second cast of unconnected villains. The simplicity of the Avatar franchise's narrative is a big part of its appeal, and it doesn't get boring easily. A simple tale of good versus evil would require greater depth and complexity in most blockbuster programs in order to maintain viewer interest. Nonetheless, the Avatar films gain from challenging the typical alien invasion film dynamic. In this case, the extraterrestrial natives are the heroes while humans are the invaders, by the end of Avatar, The Way of Water. This novel viewpoint felt just as inventive and astute as it had in 2009. Therefore, it wasn't necessarily positive for the series' future to hear that the plot of Avatar 3 was going to make the morals of the franchise more complicated. The protagonists and antagonists of James Cameron's gripping science fiction epic have been obvious since the start of the trilogy. The native Nausicaa were valiantly protecting their homeland against the aggressors, which included Quaritch's Marines, the RDA, and Pandora's human colonists in general. But Cameron hinted that this will change in Avatar, Fire and Ash. Cameron stated that Avatar, Fire and Ash would show the antagonistic aspect of the Nausicaa to audiences in an interview with the French publication 20 Minutes. An early look at the sequel's concept art, which shows franchise villain Miles Quaritch being led into a Fire Nausicaa clan's camp with his hands bound behind his back, served to support this. Quaritch might persuade the Fire Nausicaa to support him and the RDA in their attempt to occupy Pandora by force, even if he might be their prisoner at first. There are two reasons why this might be a clever twist. To begin with, even though the Nausicaa are more powerful than humans, they would find it difficult to destroy one of their own clans. Although it is difficult for the Nausicaa to defeat humans due to their superior technology, their guerrilla warfare strategies have so far been effective. General Ardmore, Edie Falco, the most underappreciated antagonist in the Avatar franchise, is hoping that the Nausicaa will ultimately give up to pressure from Quaritch's Marines, the RDA, and Tulkun hunters. By strategically putting the Fire Nausicaa against the Metkayina and the Omaticaya and taking advantage of their pre-existing tribal differences, Quaritch may hasten this process. Maintaining the series' current equilibrium is another reason why Avatar, Fire and Ash's Fire Nausicaa teaming up with Quaritch makes sense. As the sequels show more evil Nausicaa and brave humans, the Avatar films run the risk of losing sight of their original plot. Eventually, the series might just be another space opera with morally dubious people on both sides of the struggle. The RDA must be the main opponent of the Avatar films in order to effectively convey the gravity of Pandora's colonization. Quaritch would demonstrate the villain's cunning by persuading the clan to fight the other Nausicaa rather than the human invaders. It is more fascinating to watch Quaritch's seduction of the Fire Nausicaa than to reveal that some Nausicaa were always baddies. It would demonstrate the villain's cunning and highlight the threat posed by the RDA if Quaritch could persuade the clan to fight the other Nausicaa rather than the human invaders. Even a character with Quaritch's level of stubbornness can admit that the RDA's present strategy for populating Pandora hasn't been successful in the wake of Avatar and The Way of Water. This is the kind of tactful villain who would take an indirect approach by inflaming tribal tensions. The Fire Nausicaa would needlessly complicate a narrative that relies on simplicity if Avatar, Fire and Ash created a second, independent group of villains with unique motives that weren't in line with the RDA or the other Nausicaa clans. The simple plot of the Avatar films is what makes them successful, and Quaritch enlisting the Fire Nausicaa to his cause could not maintain this tale much more linear. This would also account for Quaritch's resurgence as a prominent antagonist following his defeat in The Way of Water. If the villain gathers a strong enough force from the Fire Nausicaa, there's even a potential that Quaritch would kill Jake in Avatar, Fire and Ash. After the conclusion of The Way of Water, in which Quaritch fled quickly after narrowly escaping death at Jake's hands, it is difficult to see how the series' protagonist could feel frightened by Quaritch. However, if Quaritch can control the Nausicaa, the story of Avatar, Fire and Ash might provide him with his most potent ally to date. Thus, while Avatar, Fire and Ash continues to broaden the franchise's world, the Avatar series may continue to follow its current plot. That concludes our review for today, but the discussion is far from over. For more, leave a comment, hit like, and subscribe for more videos. Keep the magic of movies alive until the next time, signing off from FK Bytes.